Do you like color in your garden? But maybe you get discouraged because the flowers that you've chosen only bloom for a couple weeks and then the color is gone for the rest of the year. Or maybe you're not even sure which flowers to choose to get the colors that you want. Join me today as I discuss garden design and getting color in your garden without using flowers. Hi, I'm Gardener Scott, and my garden is just beginning to wake up after a long, pretty cold spring. Some of the early flowering plants, like this salvia, are beginning to shine, but for the most part, the rest of my garden is still green. The flowers in this pollinator garden haven't even begun to show their colors yet. That will come in a few weeks and a few months. But I like having color in my garden, and I like it every day if I can get it. You've probably noticed already that I've got some color right here. These are brand new. I just put these in my garden. These are the new colors from GreenStalk, and I decided to base some color schemes in my garden around these GreenStalk towers. One of the easiest ways to get long-lasting color in your garden is with your containers. You can get pots and containers and GreenStalks in many different colors to match the palette that you want to paint within your garden. Now this is the lemon color. It was just released at GreenStalk. As soon as I saw it, I had to have it. Yellow just happens to be my favorite color, and I wanted to put this in my garden, in my flower garden, to add some of the color. Yellow makes perfect sense to match with blue and red, primary colors. The primary colors stand out against the rest of the garden, against all of the green. And our eye is naturally drawn to these colors, and most people find these basic colors quite pleasing. Now, when I do most of my garden design, I work with the rule of 3. And the idea is you have 3 components when you are working with design. So I've got 3 different pots in 3 different colors and 3 different sizes. So when I fill these pots with potting soil, when I put potting soil into my GreenStalk and I begin growing flowers, the basic structure, the foundation of this area are components that come back to the number 3. I'll be coming back to that idea, the rule of 3. But first I want to give you a couple other ideas of how you can add color to your garden. And I'll add a bonus tip at the end that I'm pretty sure you haven't seen before to get some long-lasting color. First, I want to show you the other new addition to my pollinator garden. This is the blueberry color of the GreenStalk. I saw this and I had to have this too. Biggest problem was where to put it. I knew I wanted to have this lemon GreenStalk right up front. I think it makes a bold statement, and it's the first thing you see when you walk into this garden area from any direction. And when I saw this ceramic pot, I had to buy it because I knew it would be a perfect match to the lemon. And I had bought this red pot a long time ago, but wasn't sure how to use it. Putting it all together, I think, works extremely well. But how to work in the blueberry tower to this color statement? I knew that one needed to go there, but the blue one wasn't so sure. So I went ahead and assembled it so that it was a single tower. And then I could move that tower around to different areas, thinking that the height of this tower would go well with the height of a tower right up front. The first spot I tried was right here. So I carried the tower into place, set it down, and then I stepped back and took a look at it and tried to see if it really was what I was looking for. but it really wasn't. It was too much like two columns, like an entryway. And while I have these beds here as an entryway, it just didn't quite feel right. So the next spot was in this back corner, and I did the same thing. I set it up and then stepped back to see what I thought about having the tower in that location. But I wasn't sure that that was best. It didn't quite fit right. So then I moved it to its current location, set it up, stepped back, and took a look to see how it matched against the lemon tower. And I liked it. I liked that position well, but I didn't want to rest with that. So then I moved it over to the other side of the pollinator garden to see how it would look over there. Same thing. Carried it over, set it in position, stepped back, and then took some time looking at the whole area to see how well it balanced. And this is the spot that I liked best. So this is now its permanent home, until maybe I decide that I want to move it. That's one of the nice things about the GreenStalks. Like most pots, they're easy to move. Now, whenever you put a big container in the middle of your plants on bare soil, chances are it's going to sink. It might tip. So once I decided on the permanent locations of both of these GreenStalks, I made sure I had a very solid base. I dug out the soil and I had some retaining wall blocks. I put the blocks in the ground and then I made sure they were level in all directions. I filled in the soil around the blocks once they were leveled, and then I set the GreenStalk in place. Now, this still hasn't been filled yet. I still have to put the potting mix in it. I still have to put some seeds and plants in it. But a good test of whether it's level is by spinning it. I've got the spinner base, which I think is what you should have if you're going to have a GreenStalk. And you can see it's not leaning, and it rotates easily. A level surface that's solid will enable you to use the GreenStalk in the best way that you can by spinning it to get even sun depending on the plants you are growing in it, but more importantly, so it doesn't sink, doesn't tip, and doesn't fall over. I did the same thing with the lemon GreenStalk, making sure it was on a solid base and testing by spinning it. Now, I liked seeing the blueberry GreenStalk here. It just was too high and didn't quite fit in this exact location. But because I liked it, it gave me the idea that I needed to add some more pots in this location. And not just any pots, blue pots. A medium color blue, a light blue, and then a pot that's got some darker blue, along with kind of a magenta color. So now as you are sitting back and looking at this whole area, you can see how I've used the rule of 3 in a few different ways. First, I got 3 pots there, and I've got 3 pots there. And as you'll see in just a minute, I've got 3 components of color over there. What ties them all together is blue. I have blue there, I have blue there, and I have blue there. I've also used the height component. This tower adds height, that tower adds height next to the tree and the elderberry bush. And then I've also got this tree. Now, while this tree doesn't have the same colors as the rest, as it continues to grow, it's going to add that height element. So right now, this lemon GreenStalk is about the tallest thing in this garden area. But once that tree and that tree and that tree, rule of 3, all begin growing, it's going to change that height perspective, and this tower will no longer be the tallest thing in this area. It will complement the trees. My original thought, and the primary reason of adding color to this area, is because I had those wonderful colors of GreenStalk. But now that I've actually started placing things, I'm adding to my concept. I'm adding to the rule of 3, I'm adding to my ideas of bringing color. It doesn't have to be a single plan figured out ahead of time and then kept that way forever. These blue pots are wonderful, and I just happened to notice that I've got yellow flowers right next to it. By adding some red flowers, maybe a low ground cover, because these pots are lower, I've now tied this area in to the other two areas with the same colors. I focused on the primary colors because primarily I liked these two colors so much. So I built the design around these colors. I could have done it with many of the other colors. GreenStalk has a great variety of colors. And in fact, seeing some of those colors is what gave me this idea. Last year, one of my basket weave GreenStalks in the brown color, I used to grow flowers. And I used the flowers in that GreenStalk to add color to my deck. Well, that's what I want to do with these GreenStalks, to fill them with color, using the background color of the GreenStalk against the colors of the flowers inside. I could have based everything around the deep purple of this salvia, or maybe this deep pink of my clematis. There are so many different options in colors that you can use once you find the containers that match the idea. Once all these flowers have died back and gone dormant during the winter, I'm still going to have color in my garden. I did identify that I was missing one of the primary colors back by the blueberry GreenStalk. And this is the tip that I told you was coming. The idea that maybe you haven't seen before. A way to get some of that long-lasting color in your garden after the flowers have faded. I love alliums in my garden. These are a wonderful purple early in the season, but then they lose their color. What if the color could last longer, like these brilliant red alliums that I have in this area of my garden? Well, believe it or not, this isn't their real color. I have spray painted these seed heads and turned this dull green group of allium seed heads into red flourishing flowers. There are many plants in the garden like these alliums that will flower with their burst of color for a very brief period, and then they fade. At least the color fades. The structure of the plant remains. And so these seed heads will stay standing for weeks, sometimes even months. By coloring them, I now have these flowers that will be present for most of my growing season. And I'm still using the rule of 3 for this area to mimic the area up front with the colored pots. I've got my blue GreenStalk, I've got these red flowers, and these coreopsis will actually get about this high with beautiful yellow flowers that will last most of the season. So I've got my blue and my yellow and my red all grouped together in this spot. So not only can you have these colors year-round, but by being creative and adding a little bit of paint, you can have color throughout your year. If you want to see some other ideas and how I've designed this garden, well then watch one of these videos next. I'm Gardener Scott. Enjoy gardening.